In today's video, we're going to work on the animation for the shot too. So let's begin. I'm going to select this character and rename this as Sci-Fi Trooper. And I'm going to select this asset and rename this as Sci-Fi Hoverbike. I'm going to select both of them and move them to a different folder. I'm going to rename this folder as Sci-Fi, maybe Patrol Troopers. And I'm going to now select both of them and move them maybe somewhere around here. Yeah. I'm gonna select this hoverbike and this trooper and maybe adjust the position on Z-axis as well, just about there. And maybe perhaps that's a little bit too much. I'm gonna select both of them and maybe bring this thing down on Z somewhere around here. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna save everything. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this hoverbike the parent of this character. Okay. For that, I'm just gonna select this trooper from the outliner, drag it, and drop it on this sci-fi hoverbike. If I'll now move this hoverbike in the scene, you can see that the trooper is now gonna move along with it. If you're unable to do so, if you're unable to parent one asset to the other, that is most likely because of the mobility settings. You need to make sure that the mobility of both of the assets is the same. For example, if I select the sci-fi trooper and if the mobility of the sci-fi trooper is set to static, but the mobility of the sci-fi hoverbike is for some reason set to movable, then it's not going to work. Unreal is not going to allow you to parent one asset to the other if the mobility is different. You need to make sure that the mobility for both of the assets is exactly the same. So now I'm just going to select both of them and create a duplicate copy, because for the second shot we have two of them. And I'm going to enable this rotation snap, rotate them on Z-axis to maybe just about there. And I don't know, move somewhere around here. Yeah. So they look good. I'm gonna now save everything and move my view somewhere around here, let's say, maybe just about there. And I'm gonna select my camera, press my right mouse button, open up this menu and select snap object to view. Okay, this is the same camera that we brought in for the first shot. I'm gonna now split this window, open up the camera preview in this window, and as you can see, now we have this shot in our camera. So I'm just gonna move out of this one. Let me just go down here and change the focus method to disable. I'm gonna increase the focal length to 200 for this one. And let's adjust the position of the camera. I'm gonna select this camera and maybe just rotate this thing like so. Let me disable the rotation snap. I'm going to move it somewhere around here. Let me delete the foliage actor. We'll work on that later. For now, I'm just going to delete it. And let's move this camera down on Z-axis to maybe just about there. Maybe for now, let's keep it here. And let's adjust the position of these two assets. I'm just going to rotate this thing like so. And I'm going to rotate this asset to maybe just about there, I guess. Okay. I'm going to select this camera and move it somewhere around here. Let me select this asset, maybe just about there. And yeah, I think it looks good, but maybe I should move this asset a little bit closer to the camera. Here, let's say. I'm gonna now select this camera Move this thing down on Z, and I'm going to rotate this thing on local y-axis to maybe somewhere around here, let's say. Maybe here. Just about there. Let me see if we have this. I'm gonna type in 0 in here. Yeah, I think it looks good. Maybe perhaps just a little bit up on Z. And I'm gonna move this thing on X to maybe just about there. Maybe perhaps a little bit closer. Maybe rotate this thing just about there. I think I should move this camera a little bit closer. Maybe just about there. Okay. Let me just rotate this thing. I think I should select both of them and move them up on Z-axis fractionally to just about, I don't know, there, I guess. Okay. I think it looks good. Yeah, looks pretty good. Let's now bring in some mountains in the background. I'm just gonna move out here, select these mountains, rotate them on Z to maybe somewhere around here, change the orientation to global, and bring them maybe just about there. Perhaps that's a little bit too far, maybe somewhere around here. I'm gonna move them down on Z-axis to maybe somewhere around here. And yeah, I think it looks good. Maybe a little bit more on Z. Maybe fractionally down on Z to just about, I don't know, there. Okay. So, let me get closer to this camera. I'm gonna just rotate this thing. I'm gonna switch to local and rotate this thing to somewhere around here. Yeah, I think it looks good. I'm gonna save everything, and yeah, I think it looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna now enlarge this window, and let's bring in the camera rig rail into the scene. I'm gonna go into this get content menu, go into cinematic, and drag this camera rig rail and bring it into the scene. Okay. So what actually is this camera rig rail? This camera rig rail is actually like a railway track, and it's going to allow us to move different assets along a specific pathway. Okay. We're going to create a path by using this camera rig rail, and then we'll parent this sci-fi hoverbike to this rail track, and then it's going to allow us this sci-fi hoverbike to move along a specific path. Okay. So it's pretty simple. Let me demonstrate this. I'm just going to move this thing on Z-axis, drag it and bring it somewhere around here. And I'm also going to rotate this thing on Z to just about there. Let me move this thing on Y. In here, I'm just adjusting the orientation of this rig rail. I want to make sure that orientation of this asset, the sci-fi hoverbike, and my rail track is exactly the same. Okay. Not exactly the same, but pretty much the same. That is because I just don't want this camera rig rail to face this way while my sci-fi hoverbike is facing this way. Okay. So I'm just gonna make sure that I can set the orientation of this camera rig rail pretty much the same as the sci-fi hoverbike. And I think it looks good. Now I'm just gonna copy the location value of the sci-fi hoverbike and paste that for this one. Okay, yeah, I think it looks good. Maybe I should move this thing up on Z-axis fractionally, maybe somewhere around here. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Now I can select this rail track or camera rig rail, whatever you want to call this. Select this point, move this thing on X. Now you can see that we have this path or sort of a track that we can use to move this hoverbike in the scene. So if I now select this camera rig rail and move it to the folder of the patrol troopers and select this sci-fi hoverbike, parent it to this camera rig rail. I cannot do so because the mobility is set to static. I'm just gonna change this to movable, and now I can parent the sci-fi hoverbike to this track. Okay, if I'll now if I'll move back here and select this camera rig rail, increase the slider, you can see that our sci-fi hoverbike is now moving along this path. Okay. Yeah, let's now bring in another camera rig rail. I'm just gonna go into get content, go into cinematic and bring in this camera rig rail into the scene. I'm just gonna rotate this thing on Z and I'm just going to bring it here, rotate this thing on Z, move this thing on X, maybe just a little bit more on Z to somewhere around here. Yeah, I think now it looks good. I'm gonna now select the sci-fi hoverbike, copy the location, and paste that location values for this camera rig rail. And I'm just gonna select this rail, copy the height, and paste that height over here as well. Okay. I'm gonna now move this to the folder of patrol troopers and select this hoverbike, change the mobility to movable, and I'm gonna drag this thing, drop it on this camera rail. Okay. So I'm gonna now select this point and move this thing on X. Select this camera rail, increase this slider, and as you can see, now the sci-fi hoverbike is moving along its path. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna now select this point in here and move this on X to maybe somewhere around here. And I'm also going to select this track, select this point, and I'm gonna press and hold Alt on my keyboard. Let me switch to global space. I'm gonna press Alt on my keyboard and extrude this point to maybe, I don't know, somewhere around here, let's say. And I'm gonna move this point on y-axis to maybe somewhere around here. I'm also going to select this point, move it, and move it to maybe just about there. And I think I should also select this one, move it here, and rotate this thing on Z fractionally to maybe just about there. I'm gonna switch to local. Yeah, I think it looks good. Let's now create another extrusion, and I'm gonna press and hold Alt on my keyboard and extrude this point to just about there. Let's see. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, looks pretty good. Okay. So this is how you can extrude and extend these paths in the scene. And I'm gonna now bring in these two tracks into the sequencer. I'm gonna open the folder of level sequence, open up the sequencer, and select this camera rail and bring it here. I'm going to click on this add button and select current position on rail. Okay, let's bring in this parameter into the sequencer, and I'm going to move my playhead to just about there, add a keyframe, and I'm going to move this playhead to, let's say, at frame number 54, and type in here 1, which is going to be the final position of this hoverbike. And as you can see, now we have this sci-fi hoverbike moving on this track. Okay. I think there is a problem in here, and you can see that this sci-fi hoverbike is not auto-orienting depending on the path. You can see that the path is heading this way. You can see that the path is facing this way while the sci-fi hoverbike is facing this way, okay? Which is not correct. So for this, I'm just gonna select this track and check this box, look orientation to rail. And now as you can see that the orientation is accurate, okay? So let me play this animation, and whoop, it's pretty quick as you can see. So let's now move this keyframe. I'm gonna move this thing to maybe, let's say, 100, and let me split this window so that I have a little bit of idea how this is gonna look like in my camera. Yeah, I think it looks good. Perhaps it's still a little bit too quick, so I'm just gonna move this keyframe to somewhere around here, okay? Let's now play this animation, and yeah, I think it looks good. But I'm gonna adjust the point of this track. I'm gonna select this point here, rotate this thing on Z to just about there. Okay. Oops, what's going on here? I think I'm gonna select this point. Come on. Delete it. Yeah, I think now it looks good. I think there were 2 points there overlapping with each other. So I'm just gonna now select this point again and rotate this thing to maybe just about there. And let's now play this animation. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good and pretty smooth. Let's now do the same thing with this track as well. I'm gonna select this track, bring it into the sequencer, and move this playhead to maybe somewhere around here, let's say. And I'm just gonna copy this animation track and paste it here. Let's move this track to somewhere around here. And yeah, I think it looks good. We're gonna have a better idea about the speed of this animation when we'll animate the camera. So let's do that. Before that, I'm gonna bring in an actor into the scene. I'm gonna lock the sequencer, enlarge this window, going to get content, going to basic, drag this actor, and bring it somewhere around here. The reason why I brought in this actor is because I'm gonna parent this camera to this actor so that it can revolve around these two assets in the scene, okay? Let me demonstrate this. I'm gonna move this actor into the folder of the camera. I'm gonna select this camera, parent it to this actor, and if I'll now rotate this actor, you can see that the camera is revolving around this actor, okay? So this is what we want for our animation, so I'm just gonna split this window, drag both of these two assets and bring them into the sequencer. The sequencer is locked. Let's try this again. There we go. I'm gonna come out of this one, bring it up, and I'm gonna select these two camera rails, bring them here. And I'm also going to add a transform parameter to this actor. And Let's bring this thing down. Oops. Let's bring this thing down here. And I think I'm gonna move to frame number 16 from where this hoverbike begins to move, and add transform keyframes for the actor, and do the same thing with the camera as well. Okay, I'm gonna now move to, let's say, maybe frame number 34, 35, maybe frame number 40. Maybe somewhere around here. Okay. I'm also going to increase the play area and uh, extend the camera cut. I think I should set the play area to maybe, let's say, 72 frames. Yeah. So let's now select this actor, and I'm gonna rotate this thing on Z to maybe just about there. It's gonna automatically add the keyframe because the auto keyframe is enabled. I'm gonna go down here, select this camera, and rotate this camera on Z to maybe just about here, I guess. I'm gonna type in 0 in here, and yeah, I think it looks good. Let's see how this looks like. And yeah, I think it looks good. Okay. Maybe I should, move this camera here. I don't know, here. And fractionally rotate this thing like so, just about there, and bring it down on Z somewhere around here, and rotate it, rotate this thing again. I'm gonna rotate this thing again, and maybe bring this camera over here. Okay. I think I should also select these mountains as well. I'm gonna select these mountains, fractionally bring them up on Z, just about there. Perhaps that's a little bit too much. Maybe somewhere around here. Yeah, now, yeah, I think now it looks good. Okay, so I'm gonna now play this animation. Let me press G in here so that I can enable the game mode and hide these icons. And yeah, I think it looks good. Okay, so I'm just gonna select this camera, and I don't know, maybe just that here, just about there. Maybe fractionally bring this up on Z as well to somewhere around here, maybe. Yeah, maybe just about there. I think the speed looks good as well, but I'm not sure. Maybe I'll have a better idea after adjusting the animation graph. So I'm just gonna select these two camera rails and go into the sequencer curves. I'm gonna select these keyframes and set it to weighted tangents so that I can, adjust these handles. I'm gonna select these two keyframes, select these handles, and move them maybe just about there. Let's save it, come out of this one, and let's play this animation. I think it needs to be a little bit quicker. So I'm just going to bring it maybe here. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this one as well. Maybe bring it just about there. Perhaps I'm gonna bring this keyframe behind the other one because one of the troopers is falling behind. Let's now play this animation and see what we have in here. Yeah, I think I should move this keyframe just about there. And let's see. Yeah, this one is pretty quick, so I think I should move it just about there. I'm not sure. Maybe here. Yeah, I think now it looks good. Okay, looks pretty good. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for today's lesson, and I'll see you guys in the next one.